my name is Brad, and this is my video blog for IER 190. So I'm going to be talking about patent troll cases. This is my second video for assignment number 8. So the first patent litigation case I want to talk about is Simple-Air, basically a big patent troll company, as I talked about earlier, an NPE, who is suing Google for infringing on one of their patents. And basically, they managed to prove that in court that the push notifications on certain aspects relating to a messaging system infringed on one of the patents that they had. And in this case, Simple-Air was seeking up to $125 million in damages and licensing fees. So this ended up going to court, I think, in 2014, and it just really goes to show the immense costs that are associated with these patent trolls. And many times they don't have to be a big NPE, but they're just suing some of these big companies like Google or Apple, which Simple-Air actually sued Apple for something very, very similar a few years back, and they also reaped a lot of expenses from that. And so they can sue these big companies like Google and Apple and get a lot of money out of it. The second case I want to talk about is Highmark v. Alcare Health Management Systems. And basically, so what happened here is Alcare, the health management system, had a software patent on a patient management system for healthcare organizations. And Highmark initiated a proceeding for basically infringing on their patent earlier in the district courts, and they actually won. But in the appellate courts, that was overturned. So one thing that's really interesting here is that when the appellate courts overturned the district courts ruling of they had to pay costs and licensing fees and all this, this was known as a Section 285. And a Section 285 is actually very controversial, and it's being debated right now as to whether or not it should be gone, because what ended up happening is if you do remove this in Section 285, it'll make patent trolling much, much harder. And the reason is because if they lose in a district court, or they can't then win in appellate court. So once they lose, it's all done. So that's a very interesting thing there, and something very interesting relating to that case. The last case I want to talk about is, and probably the most important, is what's going on right now. And basically a patent troll which has over over 1,200 patents is trying to go after Apple right now for $2 billion. And this is actually not the most amount of money that has ever been sought in a patent troll case, but it is very, very near the top. So they're going after Apple for $2 billion in court in Europe. And it's yet to be decided, but the name of the patent troll is IPC-COM. And basically the patent relates to the way handsets are allowed to access networks of different mobile and telecommunication providers. And the technology can be used to give some users priority access to networks when an emergency happens or something like that. So even if the networks may be overloaded or anything like that. So that's what the patent relates to. And the patent was actually awarded to a guy named Robert Bosch, but this company, IPC-COM, bought it out in, I believe, 2007. So they're taking that to court right now, and they're looking for $2 billion. We'll see if that ends up going through, but obviously they're seeking a lot of money. And again, kind of going back to that software patent thing that I was talking about earlier in the first video, one of the really dangerous parts about these software patents is oftentimes they're very vague. And when you have a vague patent, it can be applied to a lot of different companies. And we kind of see that with this example here with the IPC-COM thing. The reason they can sue for so much money is because this patent isn't very well defined, and they think they have a really good shot at winning because it's not that well defined. So, as I talked about earlier, that Innovation Act by Bob Woodward, I believe it was Bob Woodward. No, it wasn't Bob Woodward. It was someone else. But the Innovation Act that was run by the U.S. Congressman, or that he's trying to pass right now, will basically prevent these things from happening again. Because what they'll do is they'll make patents be much more focused, and so it'll be a lot harder for patent trolls to be sue these large companies. So those are 3 interesting cases that I looked at, and thank you for watching.